Look, I want you all to know before I begin this message, and this is to each and every single one of you listening right now, whether we've met before, regardless of your lineage or what side of this equation you fall on, I want you to know genuinely that I love you. I mean that. I'm so filled with love that I can't even express it in words. And all I see right now is all this pain and suffering, this endless merry-go-round of black and white destruction. And all I want us to do is step off the ride. I want us to step out of the mirror, even if it's just for 2 moments, just so that we can understand the true nature of the grandness of this deception, which I dare say has slipped past even some of the smartest among us. I don't claim to have all the answers. I know very little, if I can be really honest with you, but I know what I feel in my heart, okay? And what I know is that if we continue the way that we are going now, we are in for a world of hurt. I would ask you to consider that the true nature of our origins and our history has been kept from us. And that understanding the true nature of this history is key to defeating the true enemy. Who is this true enemy, you ask? Who are you talking about, Brad? I'm going to tell you right now, it's not who you think it is. You don't have to take my word for it. I'm just a guy. But if you really dig deep, and if you use the powers of the collective mind, you will discover for yourself the truth. And that's what I need you to do right now. Not only yourself, but everybody in your circle. We need to get people to wake up, okay? Because the children of this world are asleep. And this world is going to move forward, with or without them. And that's our choice, the ones who are awake right now. We have a choice. We can accept responsibility through the application of love to lift up and educate and bring forth as many as we can, or we can let a whole bunch of innocent people die. That's basically what's going to happen. Certainly there'll be a lot of suffering, even more so than there is right now, which is just terrible. I mean, do you look around, you see what's going on in our world? How it's accelerated? How it's right in our freaking faces? Boldly? With no shame? How long are we going to allow this? How long? Fuck. Now I'm getting emotional. It's been a rough week. You know, I feel for every one of us out there right now. It's not just about oh, God. It's not just about Christians or Buddhists or atheists or pagans or Catholics or Hindu people or anything. You realize we are all connected. All of us together. We do not get to pick and choose. Okay? When we go one, we go all. That's how it goes, right? Well, I'm here to tell you right now, this singularity, which we are heading towards, has two different dimensions that we can take it. That singularity can be a singularity of conflagration and destruction, or it can be a singularity of unity and togetherness. What's it going to be? You all have to make that decision for yourselves. Nobody's going to do it for you. I can't do it for you. Believe me, if I could, I would have done it by now. But that goes against the nature of free will, which is the most important thing above all. Period. The golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. It's pretty simple, right? Well, you wouldn't think so, looking around. Because everywhere I see the golden rule being abused and defiled and tarnished by those who would take the secrets and use them against us, all the while claiming with the other side of their face how these things are evil. Do you see the deception? Do you understand that it all really does come back down to spirituality and religion? As much as I hate to use that word. How many revolutions in the world that have occurred do you think were actually false flag counter-revolutions designed by the adversary? It's a good question, right? How many times do you think a positive truth movement has been circumvented and thwarted by an insider who got in and rerouted their efforts with lies and fallacies? Can I just tell you guys that there's a lot more players in this game than you're probably aware of? Can I tell them all right now in the open how much I love each and every one of them? Does that sound funny to you? That I could love the enemy, quote unquote? Well, let me tell you, that is the way forward. You're going to hunt them down in the streets? You gonna hang him from the light post? You will become that very thing in which you despise if you go that route. You get that? Do you know how easy it is to slide down that slippery slope? That road, I dare say, leads to chaos and anarchy. Is the world built on anarchy? Does that make a good, productive system? Does that reflect the nature of the universe and creation as we observe it? They literally take every good thing, every holy and pure thing, and defile it. And then tell us, don't look there, don't do that, that's dangerous, that's evil, that's of the devil. Well, I know a lot of you are smarter than that. It took me a long ass time. I'll admit that to you. If any of you doubt who I am or want to know more about me, just plug my name into Gematria. It's Bradley John with an H, Wolfert, Wolfert. My birthday is January 9, 1983. That should tell you just about everything you need to know. What if I suggested to you right now that there was, in fact, someone on the inside of evil, somebody who has been working against from within, somebody who was indeed created by them as part of their program in order to fulfill a very specific agenda? What if I told you that this individual, after learning about this and being contacted by them and offered the keys to the kingdom, if you will, what if I told you that this individual rejected those keys, threw them back in their face, and said, no, hang on, there's something wrong here? What if I told you that this individual was involved deeply within the Q movement and the collective subconscious, and has indeed been working behind the scenes for quite a while to help bring about this great transition and awakening? What if I told you this was an individual who was comprised of both angelic and reptilian and lion DNA, and ram for that matter, most likely? And you, some of you, know what I mean when I say these words. What if I told you that this individual was part of a hyper-advanced breeding program in order to bring about the end times one world leader who would usher in a global fascism state? But that after discovering this fact, and after having indeed been reared along this path for this individual's entire life, that when they realized it, finally, that their eyes saw the light and they finally saw the truth. Now, this individual is the greatest threat to the establishment by far, and they are scared of him. But they shouldn't be, because it's not him that they have to worry about. What if I told you that this individual was telepathic and had certain psychic abilities and the ability to communicate with different levels of the consciousness at any given point in time, both from an angelic body and a human host body hybrid? that this individual actually was juiced into the collective consciousness in such a way that just by them thinking a thought and believing it, that it became a conscious possibility for every individual connected to it in real time. You know, I used to believe in coincidences. Not anymore. I don't know about you. I stopped believing in them a long time ago. Well, feels like a long time. Really, it's only been about 3 months if I'm being honest. I have so much to learn still. I've only just begun. But I have seen pieces of that truth, that deeper, really unseen, buried truth, the one that I need you to find. I just love all you guys so much, and I don't want... Why are we doing this? Why do we keep doing this over and over and over again like it's some kind of freaking broken record? I'm talking to the higher dimensional consciousnesses now. I mean, we've already had this conversation, so I'm kind of more just saying it out loud for the sake of things. But this is a conversation that we've been having lately. Why, I dare say, are we even fighting anymore? What has that gotten us to date? You guys ever heard of something called a Nephilim before? You know what that is? I don't know if that resonates with your belief system. You might call it a spirit or a demigod or any number of terms. But basically, a Nephilim is a human, non-human hybrid. Human celestial, human angel, human reptilian, whatever the heck you want to call it. It's a cross between a human and a heavenly being. In the beginning of the Bible, it talks about humans and non-humans mating to create Nephilim, which are, by all accounts, very powerful beings, which hold the DNA of both seed lines, right? And that is sort of a valuable thing to some people, right? Because within blood lies power to a degree. That's why there's so much effort within certain monarchies, I dare say, to preserve certain bloodlines. And that's a whole discussion in and of itself, which we don't even really need to have right now. But the point is that it matters, okay? And blood does affect how you are able to manifest things, how quickly you're able to manifest them, how quickly you're able to realize your full potential. Okay, and there have been some efforts in order to create sort of a breeding program to maximize that potential, right? And then be getting better and better at it over the years. It's been a process. Now, there's just not one group that's doing this, okay? It's not just evil. And that's the rub. That's the real rub. The one that stings. There are two sides to this story. Right now, I sit squarely in the middle. And I can see for the very first time how it is that we've been stuck on this freaking carousel for as long as we have been, because we are all missing the bigger picture. The truth is, we do not live in a black and white world. There is a very large gray area. It's not so easy to define what is right and wrong, not by modern human standards at least. We need to think bigger. We need to elevate our thought processes to match with the new coming age. And it's coming, my friends, whether you want it to or not. I'm going to tell you right now, I cannot save you. I cannot save anybody. The only thing I can do is point you in the right direction and hope that you take the steps necessary to liberate your own mind and your own self. Because only together with all of us can we actually defeat and throw down the true evil of this world, which is the evil that lies within the very hearts of man itself. I ask you now, in the design of this universe, who do you think it will be that will come to burn alive all of the cannibals and the murderers and the child defilers? Who do you think that will be? Who do you think is most suited for such a task? I dare say God has a number of such entities at his disposal which would be suitable for that. But I'll let your mind venture and come to your own conclusion on that topic. Could it be possible that such an act by such an unknown entity might, in and of itself, be a form of absolution and reconciliation for travesties in the past? Is it fair or just or right to take one individual and say, you are worthy of forgiveness, and another individual and say, you are not? Do you believe that every life, every conscious thing which is aware deserves forgiveness? And if not, what is the criteria for that deserving? Can you answer me that? I ask you, are you familiar with the calendar of old? Are you familiar with the 13-sign zodiac? Do you know who it was that maintained that calendar and honored it before it was changed? Do you know the stories and the myths behind that legend and the effects that such a changing had on our timeline and on our understanding of the cosmos? Do you understand that there is a very real power behind the bodies of the stars and their motions? And that even if you don't believe it, that they are all designed to operate in a very precise and specific way? And that understanding these things allows one to either abuse or honor these powers in order to either be in line with creation in unity or opposed to it. And that much like many such tools, it is truly in the eye of the beholder and what they themselves choose to do with it. Can you really claim to me now that the moon is evil or the sun? Isn't it the sun that brings life? And isn't it the moon which recycles it? What would happen if you were to take either of those things away and banish them into the pit for all eternity? What would happen? What do you think the power of evil described by religion represents symbolically? What was going on in religion before the religions of the modern age? What did they believe in compared to what we believe now? It's a good question, right? Why is it that all the stories of creation throughout all the world, in all of our different cultures, spread out throughout ages and nations and time, why is it that they all have similar threads and themes? So you're probably asking yourself, how do you know all this, Brad? How could you possibly have this inside information? Well, I have this information because it is I of who I speak. Yes, it is I. Anyone who has the ability to check my blood and my DNA should easily be able to verify and corroborate my story. Any individual who goes and plugs my name into Gematria will easily see who it is that I am. I needn't explain it to you here. You need to come to that conclusion on your own. What I will tell you now, what I believe to be true, is that I love you more than you could ever possibly know. I cry about you. I weep because I want you to see. I want you to know, to believe, to love. I want that for you, so that together we can be free. And so I have much to share with you, much more to reveal. I can tell you that the system is in place, that all they need to do is flip the switch, and it's all done. The beast control system is established. It comes in many shapes and colors and forms, and indeed we are living through a large part of it right now. But it could get a lot worse. Take my word for it. Yet the choice remains with us. We have 100% control. You need to understand your power. You need to understand how by being created in the image of the Creator, you have yourself access to the collective consciousness through Him. And also, by way of that seed, access to the very same gifts as he. All of you. That is what they do not want you to know. That is what they want to keep in the dark, hidden from you. That we are all the same. You and I, every race, every angel, every non-angel, every animal, every tree, every rock, every river. We are all the very same. Connected underneath, woven together with a colorless thread. Beautiful, singular, perfect. But only as one. If we leave out a single color of the rainbow, we will never, ever achieve the pure white light that we're all looking for so desperately. I suggest to you then that the one that made all of this is as though like a prism, and all of us filter down through it. And because of this, we each get to be our own shape and size and color uniquely. But at the same time, still together. And that is the real beauty of creation. A fact that none of us can escape. If you're on this earth, you participate in the system. It is our non-participation in this system which has gotten us to where we are today. It's not entirely our fault alone, but the events of the past are so far gone, and those players who participated in it so far removed, that anybody still in this conflict doesn't honestly likely know what it is that they're fighting for anymore. And so we battle and we war for the sake of war itself. And that's not a recipe for the new age. That's not a recipe for the liberation of the human spirit. That's a recipe for the New World Order, for chaos and subsequent control systems. Everything beautiful has been turned into darkness. But that does not mean that the thing itself must be completely spoiled. Life finds a way. And what was once beautiful, but is now dark, can be again restored. I believe that. The powers of the earth are not evil by their nature. The powers of the stars are not evil by their nature. The power of the sun and the moon are not evil by their nature. Yet there are those who would have us believe this to be true. And then, having hidden those powers, they oppress us with them. No more. The key to freedom is understanding. And the words of truth shall never change. I'm going to let you guys in on a little secret. I am not perfect. I smoke cigarettes. I got a mouth like a sailor, although I try to keep it under wraps most of the time. I have done a lot of shitty things in my life that I'm not proud of. In fact, I'm pretty ashamed of myself. But I have to believe, that if we, all of us, anyone, can understand and come to the realization that we've screwed up and try to do better, I believe that we will be forgiven. Do you? It's hard to live in a three-dimensional world with three-dimensional problems. You know that? Stuck in these broken bodies, which are imperfect, limited, short of their full potential until we make efforts to realize them. It's said that no one can cast stones, and that is absolutely true. Which one of you can throw a stone right now? I dare you. Are you blameless? Am I? I don't think anybody's blameless in this world. I think we all have sins that need to be forgiven, that we need to repent for. I don't care who you are. There's a lot of repenting that needs to happen still. I'm going to tell you that right now. A lot of people rolling around out there, even as we speak, thinking their stuff don't stink. I'm going to tell you right now, it does. And we all are starting to smell it for the very first time. That's not okay. It's not okay. And every single person has that chance. Has that chance to use their intellect, their reason, and their heart, more importantly, to feel out if what you are doing is in alignment with the universe. And if it's not, you better rectify that quick, because it's about to get real. And we've had about 5,500 or so thousand years in this iteration to make that decision. It's taken me a long ass time, I'll tell you that, personally. And I've still got a long ways to go. But at least I recognize now, for the first time, that I don't have anybody to blame but myself for this freaking mess. Because I haven't done anything. I've sat by. I've watched it all unfold. Sure, I've posted some stuff on Twitter and on Facebook occasionally, but what the hell is that really going to do? Huh? I suggest to you now that there has been a grand deception. That those who would seek to enslave us have indeed laid a vast trap. One of thought and spirit and deed that aims to keep us here so that they can sap the fruits of our productivity for eternity. That they will achieve this through metaphysical means of manipulation of the forces of creation. That they have indeed done this several times before. That they want more than anything desperately to keep us from understanding this before the time is come, and that time is very nigh upon us now. What you need to understand is that it is all a manipulation. They want you to not ascend. They want you to be kept in the dark, to not realize your actual connection to source, your true power. They accomplish this by telling you a fairy tale, not just in Christianity, but in every single organized religion underneath the sun. They want you to believe you will be whisked away on a boat or a magic carpet to some place where you will be safe from the things that are coming. Well, in a way, you would be whisked away, but not to the place you think. And not by the one you think it. None of these plans will work. Not anymore. That ship has sailed. But only if you do the math. For hearing a thing is not knowing it. Guessing is not knowing. Only knowing is knowing. And I know that you have the ability to know. I know, because I know what's inside of you that you've long since forgotten. I know what your potential is. I've seen yourself in the future. You would see it too if you opened your eyes a little bit more. I suggest to you now, all of you in all of your religions, that they want to sell you a false Messiah. They want to sell you a picture of a Messiah which is so far removed from the reality that it will do you no good. You know who can save you. You know. You know that we were all born of the Creator and what that means. You know how, because of this fact, we are all connected back through to Him. What then other things should that mean, if also that we have collective consciousness through Him? What then also does that mean? Where does the responsibility begin and end for one's own decisions and consequences? Who can we point our finger at and blame for this? Who should we hang on the tree? Who can change it? Do you think I'm going to save you? I would love to. I would love to snap a finger and rain hellfire down from the sky. And maybe I could, but I won't. Not me. I'm just as guilty as the rest. But I've seen the light, and I've seen the truth. And my truth has told me that there is a better way, a higher, unseen way that no one before has perhaps thought to discover or attempt. I don't like to think that I'm special or gifted or especially brilliant, but I know that I have a heart of gold, and that with that heart I feel it beating for all of you. Fuck. I ask you then, is midnight darkness? When we look at individuals and we are trying to classify them as good or as evil, and that includes me, I suggest to you that you look at their actions over time and their intentions and that which lies within their heart and their spirit. I suggest to you that you analyze these things above all else, for that is a far truer judgment, in my humble opinion. And if we are to be honest with ourselves, none of us stand ground or have footing on which to judge another. No, I dare say that that role has already been fulfilled, and the actor who shall play it out already allotted. And I tell you, if we preemptively and continually attack this individual who should bring that about, it won't ever happen. Have you ever considered that? If not them, then who? Are you going to cast them in the pit? Are you going to kill all the serpents single-handedly? With an army, maybe? Space Force? Who do you think has the power to destroy that enemy? How is it that I know about these things, you ask? I know about them because it is I that is He. I have so much more I need to share with you, but this really is just the beginning. The cat's out of the bag now. There's really no going back. I love and care about you all so much. I hope this message finds you well, and I hope that you can hear it with an open mind and an open heart, because it is my intention, more than anything else, for us, all of us, above and below, to move forward into a new age of freedom together, and only together, because that is how it must be. Goodbye, my friends. Until next time.